Hello everyone, welcome to Painting with Levi. We got our whole setup going on here. We got our cup of water. We got our D&D mug with our paints and art supplies. And then we have our paints. We got metallic silver, bronze, gold, dark brown, a lighter tannish brown, a peach white color. We got a little bit darker than lavender purple, an even darker royal purple. We got a gloss white, a gray, and then a black. And the things we're going to be painting today are this little coyote guy. And we have this new miniature set that I got of a couple Aasimar paladins. But we're only really going to be focusing on one today because I have a new D&D campaign that I'm going to be a part of. And I'm playing an undead reborn Aasimar. And the character we're using is this guy right here. I don't know how you can see him or not, but sorry for the low quality. This is a newer kind of video for me. I just got myself a web camera, and we all gotta start somewhere when it comes to this stuff, so alright. So we're going to start with this gentleman, and we're going to start with the dark purple. They're just regular craft paint that you can get at any Walmart or hobby store. Alright. Oh, I'm going to pick a different brush. I think we're going to go with this one here. Nice square bristles. Again, you can get it at any hobby store or craft store. Just regular old paint. Not that fancy miniature paint stuff. I think we're going to paint the inside of the cape this nice purple. And right now we're just kind of doing a base coat. Making sure to completely coat the inside the way we want it to look. Alright. Okay. So now oops, sorry for bumping you guys. Now we're going to go in with some black. The good news about this paint is I've been painting miniatures for a little while. I'm no expert or anything. I don't paint them to match like those that like the professional painters do. I mean, I've painted well enough, I feel like, to where I've sold a couple miniatures, but I mostly just want them to look nice for the table. As long as they hold up well sitting on a table, then they're good enough for me. You really don't have to get real crazy with your miniatures. The only thing I'm not looking forward to doing is getting towards these wings, because they are supposed to be like, what's the word? Infernal? No. Ghost-like. I can't think of the word, so I'm just going to say it. Ghost-like. But they're supposed to look decayed and decrepit, because since they're an undead, even their angel-like essence is decaying. So I have to try to make these nice, pretty Asmar wings look like they're decaying. And I feel bad about having to do that. But I do know it will look cool when I am done. It'll make the miniature look that much better, so it's worth it. I just feel bad making something look worse than it could. I'd rather make him pretty and elegant the way like angels are kind of meant to be, but that's not the character I'm going for. I'm going for more of a super cool aesthetic, so that is what we are doing. Gotta make sure to get his hood. The key to this is using very, very, very little paint. So little, in fact, that I am wiping some of it off right now. Wiping it off on the newspaper, and then going over top of it again with my brush to take off more. You don't want to overly paint, because the problem with craft paint is you can keep the bottles for a long time. I've had probably most of these paints since I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, which was about 5 years ago. They last a long time, even though I can be kind of wasteful, as you can see from that purple, knowing how much purple I just painted. I can be kind of wasteful sometimes, but even with that, they've still lasted me a long time. And it's kind of crazy to think. I did miss a spot with purple though, so I do have to kind of go back in here. Grab a little bit of the purple and get back up in here. Alright. So now his fancy cape is done. You really don't have to get super crazy with these. I mean, like I said, I'm not a professional by any means. Don't get me wrong. There are some people where I've seen their miniatures and they are just absolutely gorgeous looking. Like, I actually have a few miniatures that look really, really nice, and I'm really proud of them because of how nice they look. But those are more miniatures that, like, I've painted for other people, so people have actually paid me to paint. So, obviously, I want them to look good for them. Alright, sorry for a second here, I just had to think about what I'm going to do next. I need a smaller brush now, because what I'm doing now requires finer detail. And we are going to start painting the boots, or the pant legs. And I'm sorry that I know my camera doesn't really like to focus very much. Again, this is kind of a newer process for me. Hopefully, if I start actually making some money on here, and you guys start supporting me and the job that I do, which would be much appreciated, maybe I can start getting nicer equipment, so that way I can actually do better videos for you guys as well. I think one of the first things I'm also going to do is I'm going to get myself a second camera. That way, I can have a camera for my face, which I might get a better camera than what I got now. So that way I got a camera for my face. And then I have a better camera that actually will focus on this stuff better and make it look nice, so you can actually see it better. Yeah, let's see if we can kind of get it to focus a little bit here. You can kind of see the detail a little bit here that we're getting so far. Alright. going to take a little bit of that light purple and a little bit of dark purple. I'm going to make a little spot over here. It's a blend of the two a little bit. And now I'm going to color his arms that color. Okay, I have to mix up a little more. There we go, a little more. A little dab of that. Mix up a little more. That way I can get this arm. Alright. Alright, so what should I do now? I believe now I'm going to start dipping into the browns. Get all the real color that we want onto them. Oops. Sorry, guys. So I think we're going to start with this brown first. Having to have my camera where I have it is not great for me. I want to make sure you guys get a good visual, but where it's at is really close to my left arm. Maybe next time I paint, I'll do it on my right side. But it's really close to my left arm, and I'm left-handed, so kind of a bad placement spot for me, and I don't know why I didn't think about that at the time. Oops. I made a mistake that I'll have to go back in and correct. Shouldn't be too hard though. In fact, because the little bit that I do dab on these when I paint, is so small that it's not super hard for me to just wipe them off and call it good. Alright. Alright. Just a little dab of that lavender purple. Alright. So, now we're going to go in with a dark brown. For the boots and the gloves. Sorry about my head getting in the way there. Oop. I accidentally went over my lavender again. Fix it up once we get done doing the gloves. Because I could easily end up going over the color again with on there too. So I might as well just fix it all at once, just in case. And as you can see from the way I'm doing this, I'm not exactly the most careful painter either. You can always fix mistakes. You can always go back and touch up little areas. It's not really that big a deal. The only real problem you have as a painter, and I learned this from my art teacher, is you are your own biggest critic. So you might end up wanting to add more and more detail and keep going deeper and deeper, make it look as real as possible, which is great. You can do that. But the deeper and deeper you go with it, the more likely you are to ruin it. Because you're constantly fixing, constantly adjusting, constantly whatever. And it actually looks perfectly fine. That is one of the hardest things for an artist to get over, is being their own critic. Now, the only problem with this is one thing I definitely wanted to do is after I get done painting it, as you can see, the colors are all nice and vibrant and whatever. I wanted to go over it all with a black wash. Just to give it all one. You make it all dark and muddy because, yeah, this is what his armor looked like while he was alive. But he's not alive anymore. He's now dead. So he's all dirty and grimy and gross and icky and all that other fun stuff. So I gotta have his armor reflect that. Ooh, that was kind of an accident, but I kind of like how that looks. Putting that brown in there is kind of like a highlight shimmer. Alright. So, I'm going to go back in with this kind of pink purple color again. So I can get his collar right up here. The other part of the collar is hidden, so we'll dab this in there. There we go. Okay. So, let's give you guys an update. Let it focus. There we go. Under the cloak. The back of the cloak. I don't know how well you can see the pants. The light brown for his belt and pocket stuff, for his sword sheath. Alright. So now we're going to go in with the silver. Which we're going to go with this one, I think. Alright, now we're going to paint the chest piece. I might end up choosing not to use the gray. I don't know if you guys can hear the little meows in the distance, but my kitty ended up having some kittens. Maybe I'll show you guys them in another video or something. quite cute. The mommy and daddy are a black and white cat and a calico. So we got 2 orange kittens, and then we got 2 black and white kittens. And then one of the black and white kittens was born without a tail. I know, it's kind of cool, right? I hope this video has been interesting enough to where y'all are still with me. I know it doesn't have the best quality, and I know it doesn't have like probably the best audio, but I do appreciate those of you that are still sticking with me, that are still here while I'm painting. Some of you might just end up skipping to the end just so you can see the final product, and I get that. I've done that in YouTube videos too. But if you actually stick with me all the way to the end, that would be awesome. You could even put in the comments, I stuck with it, to let me and everyone else know that you're not a quitter. Sorry, I know I took it off camera for a second. I'm just trying to get an idea of what I'm doing here. I feel like there's a couple colors I brought up here that I'm not going to end up using. If you're wondering what I'm doing, after I dip my paintbrush in the water, I just kind of swirl it around on here, and then to make sure there's no paint on it, I just paint my palm. I use so little paint and so little water, I don't really need paper towels or anything to dry it with. So, I'm gonna get that dark paint off of this one. There we go. And there's a little bit of the shirt. You probably can't. Not sure how to angle this right so you can see it. But right. Gosh dang it. I feel like I'm playing with inverted controls trying to show you guys this stuff. Right there is the part of the shirt that's white. So I'm going to paint that purple. I'll dab black to get this edge back. There we go. Get this edge back. Okay. Now we gotta go back in with the silver to get this side of his armor. Alright. And now we're gonna go in with the bronze. Don't need very much because this is literally just going to go on the sword. That little part of the hilt. That's all that's getting bronzed. And then the shield is going to be gold. Now the problem with the bronze is I won't be able to show you the finished product or how it looks when it's done being painted very well, because my bronze literally, it looks as though it gets painted on invisibly to where you can't see it at all, but after it dries it is like a straight copper. It's quite impressive. Like, it's a very brilliant kind of color once it dries. Alright. And now, this is metallic gold that I also get from Walmart. For this, I don't really put it in my paint tray. I shake it up, I open it, and then I use the paint on the lid. You know what? I changed my mind. I am going to use some more of the copper. Yep. Paint the inside of the shield as well. Alright. Now I'm going to go with that gold. I'm going to kind of wipe some of it off. And then we're going to really just lightly brush across the top with the gold. time to show you guys another update. Whoops. Okay, so let it focus. Alright, so there's our shield. Here he is. From the back. Alright. And then now we're going to use this cream color. Seal up my gold. We're going to paint the top part of his head. Okay. And now we're going to go in with this white. This very bright, brilliant white. For the lower part of the face. So the paint off. Go back in with that kind of beigeish color. Color the neck with that. Sorry guys, I don't know how long I've been off screen. It looks like my camera moved on me. Okay. And now I want to take the black. We want the littlest paintbrush that I have. Now you guys aren't probably going to be able to notice this on camera, but I still want to put it anyway. Alright, now I gotta find a way to mix some colors to make kind of a gross molting kind of color. We're gonna take some the dark purple, a little dab of the black, some of the brown, and some of the lighter color, and we're going to mix it. Feel like I need a drop of green. You guys can't really see what I'm doing here, but coloring the feathers this purplish color that I made just off camera. It's right there. I'm coloring the wings with it. And then I'm rubbing the wings off with my finger. To have the color stay inside the inner parts of the wing. Now, I think I'm going to take the black and I'm going to stipple it around the edges. and rub. Stipple. And rub. All right. So there's his dirty old wings. We're going to turn him over. Turn him over. There we go. There's a shield. And then sword. And if we get up close, personal. You can see the blacks of his eyes somewhat. I'm going to see if I turn this off. That actually helps you see better. So let's see here. Let it focus. Spin him. Keeps focusing then unfocusing. I think it's because my hand's shaking too much. Oh. Alright. So, that was painting with Levi. Next time we will paint the Were-Coyote. I believe that's what they're called. So, I guess, good afternoon and good night.